Okay, let's talk today about Friedrich Schleiermacher. And you can enjoy hearing me attempt to pronounce that name for the next few minutes. He was a Prussian theologian in the early 18th century, and he's often called the father of modern theology, but don't let that trick you into thinking he was universally beloved or even esteemed. Both the substance and the quality of his work has been an issue of hot debate ever since his time. His main idea can be boiled down to this: all religions have at their heart a core, which is an essence. Out of that essence grows layers. So you can think of this using the analogy of an onion that has a core and then these layers that grow around it. Yes, I am pulling from Shrek. These layers are things like doctrine, ritual, ethical actions, practices. They all grow out of the essence of that religion, and that's what forms what he calls the material and mental phenomena. He later developed this idea further by claiming that actually all religions have the same essence. And so at the heart of every religion is this feeling of absolute dependency. He calls this God consciousness. So at the heart of Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity is this experience of feeling absolute dependency on someone else. What distinguishes them then from each other? So the layers grow because this essence is going to interact with a specific environment. That environment is the culture, the language, the political system. All of those aspects of the environment interact with the essence, and out of that, the product of that interplay is a specific religion such as Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism. And so these religions, though, aren't all completely equal then or the same. He says that they can either be healthy or he calls it degenerate. And whether it is healthy or degenerate all has to do with if the phenomena has a proper relationship to the essence. So this theory about religions was eventually taken up by theologians such as Paul Tillich and further developed. And then you have other theologians such as George Lindbeck. He's going to look at what Tillich and Schleiermacher are doing, and he calls it an experience expressionist model of doing theology. And how he describes this model is that you start with an inward experience, such as the feeling of God dependency or God consciousness. You start with that experience and then you attempt to articulate it, to give it language. And as you articulate it, you create the religion. So more conservative or traditional theologians are going to have a big issue with this because they're going to argue the opposite, right? They're going to say, no, humans encounter very real, objective, divine presence, such as in Christianity, the Father or the Christ figure. And then out of that encounter, we then have the experience internal. So it starts with a real objective encounter and it leads to the internal experience, which we then are given language for in divine revelation. This is like the opposite of what the experience expressionist model suggests. So basically, Schleiermacher opened the door for this whole new way of looking at what religions are and created this debate. And the debate has been ongoing and continues to be ongoing. We talked about how theology is not always just picking up on someone else's ideas and building on it. A lot of times theology is reacting against other ideas. And so we really see this for Schleiermacher in someone like Karl Barth. So Barth feels like Protestant theology, which we'll talk more about him in another video, but he feels like Protestant theology has lost the plot. He specifically says that we've lost the very object of theology study, which is God. So if you see how his theology develops, he's trying to recover the object, which is God. And so the conversation continues. Just to take away with you, Schleiermacher, religions are like onions. To be clear, those are my words, not his, but it might be a helpful metaphor to make it stick in your brain. And maybe not the father of modern theology, I don't know, but certainly the father of a debate over what the core of religion is and where it originates from, whether in our experience or in objective reality.